View on.
You like 96900 693 13 13 32 in Mitchell at 3ow.com.au. Interesting, we haven't got any people as yet who say that the disabled kids are being disruptive in classrooms at any level. So maybe it's the point I'm trying to get at. Has she got a point? Is it being well managed or not? Anything you like, give me a call. Tell you something I want to talk about later in the day too. Hidden treasures. They're looking to promote hidden treasures in Victoria. Now, it could be a restaurant, it could be a piece of geography or something you go to look at. It could be a hotel. I've got a ripper, suburban Melbourne. I bet nobody even knows about it.
13 rounds gone. Hawks 17th on the ladder. Tonight, they're up against the top of the table Crows at the Adelaide Oval. From 6 p.m. on 3AW, Dwayne Russell, Cameron Ling and the team.
It's a trademark showstopper.
For KFC, 3AW is football.
3AW, search first. Sending money abroad, get more.
It's without doubt the biggest and best tile sale of the year. Save 30, 40, 50, 60% and more on beautiful national wall and floor tiles. Whether you're building or renovating, don't miss the biggest and best tile sale of the year. National Tiles. For your nearest store, visit nationaltiles.com.au.
Look sharp in a new Lexus at Lexus of Blackburn. The Lexus end of financial year event is ending soon. Time is running out on sharp drive-away incentives on selected models. Arrange a test drive now and step up into a new Lexus. Make your way to Lexus of Blackburn before June 30. 146 Whitehorse Road or lexusofblackburn.com.au. Terms and conditions apply. LMCT 10093.
Melbourne, your wish has been granted. Disney's Aladdin has opened to rave reviews. The Herald Sun says it's electrifying and ignites the stage. The Age called it brilliant, a Broadway spectacular in a league of its own. And the Daily Review says Disney's done it again. Experience Aladdin, now playing in Her Majesty's Theatre. Book today at Ticketek.
Turn right.
Never had a pretty eye.
Turn right.
Did you know that prepaid funeral plans are excluded from the assets test? For retirees wanting to maintain their lifestyle, a prepaid funeral from Lapine Funerals can help you preserve pension
Turn right.
entitlements and free
Turn
your
right.
family from future funeral costs. There are no
Turn
rising
right.
premiums. You save by paying for tomorrow's funeral
Turn
at today's
right.
prices. There are no health checks or waiting periods, and interest-free payment plans are available. Speak to Lapine Funerals about prepaying your funeral. Or for financial advice, speak to an advisor. Visit lapinefunerals.com.au.
A suit shows personality and style, so hurry to Sayers now for Italian-designed Madotti pure wool suits. An unbelievable $349. Find your local store at sayers.com.au. Men dressed by Sayers, always admired.
Planning for the future can be stressful. At Premier Homes, they understand this. That's why they take care of all the fine details, including plans and permits, allowing you to concentrate on the more important things in life. When you decide to build a granny flat, trust the dedicated design team at Premier to build a home you'll love to live in. Visit their 10-home display village at 110 Canterbury Road, Bayswater. Open 7 days. Phone 9761 6699.
Exchange rates taking a big bite out of Search OFX Money Transfer.
Until noon, you're listening to Neil Mitchell.
Now, we continue to ask questions and as yet not get answers about this tip we've got about a cyber attack on our speed and red light cameras. Our tip is 50 cameras are down as of now. Redflex as yet hasn't called back. Anyway, we're starting to ask broader questions now, because if they can get into that system, if it is a cyber attack, and I repeat it's unconfirmed, if they can get into that system, what else can they get into? This we announced in the program last week, but the Premier's just re-announced it. Traffic chaos. St Kilda Road, this is through the school holidays, St Kilda Road will be down to one lane. You should avoid St Kilda Road or allow an extra 30 minutes. Also, tram travellers should be aware they will be chaotic on the roads. Now, Vic Roads in the studio last week, John Merritt telling us all that. The Premier has just reissued it, so we'll put the detail onto our website so you can have it all there in front of you in black and white, because you can't absorb it here. But just beware, it's going to be chaotic through the school holidays, particularly St Kilda Road area and the Monash. Terrific. Stephanie, hello.
Turn right.
Hi Neil, how are you?
Okay.
I'm a mother of 4 children. We're still in the primary school system.
Yeah.
We go to a Catholic school, which is a lovely environment. However, we've encountered some very disruptive behaviour by children with learning difficulties and autism. One was actually...
It's affecting your children?
It did at the stage. She's now in year 9, but when she was in year 6, it frightened her because this boy picked up
9.5 kilometres to exit 19.
and they had to call in another kind of male big teacher to restrain him because he was in year 6 too, so he was big, he was strong,
And did the school handle it properly?
I think they did, but I think it's really unfair on teachers to have to deal with problems like that because it can be very confronting.
Well, I'm sure it can, but we would hope they'd have a teacher's aid to help them. Thank you for that, Stephanie. I must say, you're the only one. The rest have been overwhelmingly in support of the idea of the integrated system. We are coming up to the 9 o'clock news and debate it further if you like. I want to look at this imam who was guilty of conducting a marriage of a child, but we're still going to pay him taxpayers' money. And also cats. Are they evil?
The latest news for the famous Berwick Furniture Stock Tax Sale with up to 40% off timeless quality furniture. 3AW 693 News. 7 degrees in Melbourne, partly cloudy, top today 15. 9 o'clock, good morning. I'm David Armstrong. A 16-day winter construction blitz will fast-track multiple road and rail projects across the state, taking advantage of the upcoming school holidays. Here's Anthony Lawton.
Crews are shoveling chunks of concrete here at the St Kilda and Toorak Roads intersection. They're working on new tram tracks and 2 new stops on Toorak Road, allowing the Route 58 to operate during the Metro Rail Tunnel's construction. It's just one of around 30 road and rail projects to be fast-forwarded over a more than 2-week period. Premier Daniel Andrews says motorists and commuters should brace for delay.
We'd ask people to be aware of their circumstances and to be aware of this very big program of work.
The full body of works commences on June 30, continuing through until July 24.
struggling bill as a senior member of Parliament. He should know better. But I think this is just another example of a politician treating us with a bit of contempt and using the system to suit themselves and making appalling judgments. Many years ago, when I was editor of the Herald newspaper, I banned senior staff having relationships with junior staff for pretty obvious reasons. Now, most people followed that. They didn't like it, but most people followed it. But if I was able, and the Herald people were able to see that more than 30 years ago, why can't Elmo see that now? We'll get to the imam and the child marriage in a moment. Tim, hello Tim.
G'day, how you going?
Okay.
This is about autism and disabilities and stuff like that. I really think that we are all on the spectrum. Every single person on the earth is on it.
I don't know.
In some way.
2.5 kilometres. Exit left onto
What are
the
we going to do? Are we going to turn all the people that have got disabilities and put them on an island by themselves and, discard them? We have to be a more forgiving society.
Oh, yeah, look, I disagree on the... I agree on the principle. The problem, what I'm trying to ascertain here, she says people are coming up to her on the street and saying, oh, school's a mess because we've got disabled kids in the class and they're disruptive. Is that true or not? Clearly, some disabled kids will be too disruptive for mainstream classes, but surely that's identified and dealt with. I think Pauline Hanson's off the mark. I think she's insensitive and it's ugly the way she's put it, but I'm trying to establish really whether she's got any sort of point, whether it's happening in the real world. It's 9:12 now. I think the system is wrong. An imam who married a child to a man 20 years older is to get taxpayer money even though he was convicted. The child was 14. This is the magistrate's court yesterday, reported in the papers today. Ibrahim Ahmed is his name. He was sentenced to carrying out a secret wedding between a 14-year-old girl and a man 20 years older than her. He had been charged with a more serious offence that carried over the marriage, which carried, I think, 4 years jail. Then he was found guilty of this lesser offence that carried 6 months. The problem I've got, well, one, he could go back into the community eventually, and maybe, anyway, he'll go back into the community. The problem I've got is he's getting taxpayer funding, not from legal aid, but to pay some of his legal fees effectively. David Gelblich, you see, from Berwick Lawyers, Program Legal Advisor, to explain why the law is an ass. David, good morning. Okay, what happened? That's right, I will. What happened?
Well, in this
Continue straight onto the M420 South Gippsland Highway, Cran.
and release the individual on
Continue
what's known as a
2.3
responsible good
kilometres.
behaviour.
Yeah.
Now that's a remedy that's available.
Yeah, but that's not what's worrying me. I'm not concerned about that. Why are we paying some of his legal fees?
Well, we pay his costs because in his circumstance, obviously, some of the charges should never have been brought against him, and therefore there's an award of costs made against the police for that.
So this is the charge that was brought against him originally and then dropped and they went with another one?
Correct. And obviously, whilst that charge was on foot, he incurred costs that should never have been incurred, and the charge probably should never have been laid. And in those circumstances, obviously, his legal team were able to show to the court that these costs have been unnecessarily incurred. And the court has agreed and awarded them again. It's extremely unusual.
I was going to say, it is unusual, isn't it?
Oh, yes. In a situation where a person is charged with a multiplicity of offences, a whole number of offences, and had a number of them withdrawn, the usual position is that costs are not awarded in your favour in respect of the charges that have been withdrawn. So this is quite exceptional.
That's what I would have thought, because it isn't all that unusual for a person to front court on a number of charges, and then as you proceed, they say, oh, we'll drop that, and maybe you plead to that, or we'll drop that, and we go ahead with this. It's not unusual for that to happen.
No, it's very common. And in fact, that's a very daily event that takes place in the Melbourne Magistrates Court and the Suburban Magistrates Court regularly on a daily basis.
Because the charge was, the more serious charge was laid over the same offence. It's just they downgraded the charge, but he's found guilty of it.
Well, yes, and they would be presumably the same set of facts that cover both charges. The prosecution may not have been in a position to have been able to substantiate the first charge. But I would be very interested to know how it is that you can break the costs up into legal work that's done in respect of one charge as against all of them.
That must happen often. I go to court charged with murder, and as things proceed, that gets knocked down to manslaughter. But I don't get compensation for the legal fees for having started to defend myself for murder.
No, you don't. No, and that is commonplace. And the same goes for assault. Someone can be charged with a very serious assault causing serious injury and have that reduced to recklessly causing injury, not intentional. That happens daily in all the courts throughout Victoria. And costs don't flow.
Have you ever heard of costs being watered like this before?
Not in this situation. No, I haven't. It's the first up for me.
Is there any precedent to something like this?
Well, you don't need precedent, but I don't know the situation where you have somebody who pleads guilty to a number of offences and the others are withdrawn and costs are awarded to the defendant in respect of the ones that are withdrawn. I don't know the situation happening.
Well, it has now. We don't even know from the reporting today how much money is involved or the reasoning behind it. Will that be a matter of public record somewhere? Not necessarily with the magistrate's court.
No, won't necessarily. The submissions would have been made by defence counsel. The magistrate may have agreed with those submissions, and that's where it is. There's no written judgment.
So if this is a matter of concern, how does it go further? Is it up to the Attorney General to seek explanation, or can the Attorney...
Well, it will be up to the prosecution, the DPP, to look at it and see whether or not it's appellable, and then appeal it to the county court if it is appellable, or alternatively take it to the Supreme Court by way of an order to review the decision.
I accept it's not a precedent, but you would hope it wouldn't encourage every second person charged with an offence that's knocked down a level to go and get costs for the first one.
No, I take the view in respect of this one that there must have been a set of circumstances that clearly showed that the charge should never have been laid, and that once it was laid, specific costs must have been incurred to defend that charge which were unnecessary.
Okay.
That must be the situation.
David, that's great help, thank you. Well, actually, I wanted to ask you too, this second issue which we touched on, he's on a recognizance order. What does that mean?
That means that he's on an order where he has to come back and appear before the court. So he'd be on a good behaviour, what we call a good behaviour bond, to be of good behaviour for a period of time. At the end of that time, the matter's dismissed.
Thank you very much, David Gelbley, QC, Berwick Lawyers, our program legal advisor. Len, hello.
Yeah, mate, I'm totally disgusted as a victim of pedophilia. He facilitated pedophilia. We just spent millions of dollars on a royal commission into institutionalised child abuse. We've got a cut and dry case which has been videoed, and he doesn't spend a day in jail. I have no confidence whatsoever in the law system in Australia, none at all. If anybody touches my grandkids, they won't make it to court.
Okay, it's not quite. Look, I share your passion about it and your anger about it, but it's not quite the same as an attack by a pedophile. When you think this marriage has been carried out with the mother present, we don't know the young girl's views on it. She's only 14, so she's not in a position, in my view, to give assent. Not in this country. There were allegations, and nobody can be named to protect the child. There were allegations that she was raped in the days after the seminar, etc. Now, who knows? But this hopefully will continue through the courts at another level. But the incident that's the side of it that's baffling me, and clearly baffling David Gelbley as well, is why he goes on one charge that's sort of knocked down to another level, which is, I suppose, guaranteeing a conviction.